There are so many times and so many places that you have to show your ID and your boarding pass to eventually, get to your flight. We all know most airlines actually suggest you arrive a couple hours before your flight. How in the heck did a woman get onto a plane without, ever even showing her ID or having a boarding pass?
It's very confusing, but here's what we know about this story. So the airport in question is Orlando. It happened on Saturday. Orlando looks a lot like SeaTac when you're inside. It has long lines, just like we do, has security, just like we do, same checks and balances and procedures. And yet, here's the headline from Fox 35 Orlando. Woman with no boarding pass, no ID, taken off Delta flight at Orlando International Airport. As I mentioned, this was about 10:30 Saturday morning. So a passenger gets onto this flight that's apparently bound to Atlanta from Orlando, but there's a woman sitting in the seat. And so the woman is asked, hey, can we just see if you're in the wrong seat here? Can we look at your boarding pass? And she initially refuses. Then she says she threw away her boarding pass. So then flight attendants are involved and they're like, okay, but we need to see your photo ID then. So she pulls out a selfie on her phone. Police are like, the airline folks are like, that's not your ID. So police are called. It takes 45 minutes to the woman is finally removed from the flight, and then the entire flight has to be rescreened. So they're already late, and then this whole process has to happen. And now a lot of people are like, how in the world?
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
And
yes.
What is the TSA saying about that?
Okay, so TSA has issued a statement. They say the woman was screened. Delta says they're investigating, but nobody seems to be able to answer the question about, like, did she ever have ID? She must have had a boarding pass at some point. Like, how did this all happen? How did she go through security, through the gate agent, get on the plane? If she didn't have these things. Now, I was just reading in USA Today, they have some additional reporting. Apparently, there is a procedure in place when you go through TSA that if you have forgotten your ID, there's like a checklist that they can go through with you that you can still get through. So it's possible that may have happened. So it's possible she may have gone through that process and then gotten to the other side and legitimately thrown her boarding pass away. But again, it's like, there are a lot of things here that are very confusing.
Well, absolutely, and I think not the least of which, what about the airline? Didn't Delta scan this boarding pass?
Yes.
They would have record if that happened.
Yes, and they also are being very vague in their statements as well. So I guess she could have scanned it at the gate agent and on the ramp thrown it away? Again, there are a lot of problems with all of this, and I think a lot of travelers are like, can we get to the bottom of this?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are some definite security concerns, but a selfie is not
No, it's not.
It's not a valid form of ID.